uh, how to do it. Anybody want to walk me through number one? Beck, you look excited on that one. Let's go. Come on. What do you got, Beck? Come on. What do you got to do first? All right. We can ignore this guy. Change the color of this. Let's go with yellow. All right. So we can essentially. What the Why is this not working? All right, here we go. So first one, we can ignore this or in the middle. What? All right, so we can ignore this or guy in the middle and solve them both independently. So over here I have 2x is less than negative 10. So what do I have to do there, Mark? Divide by 2. Divide both sides by 2, so I'm going to have x what? Not impossible to see, isn't it? All right, so I have x is less than negative 5. Over here, I subtract the 3, and I have 2x is greater than, what's 17 minus 3? 14. Then divide both sides by 2. X is going to be greater than 7. All right, so we graph these on the same line. So I have 0, I have negative 5, I have positive 7. So Buckley, negative 5, open or close dot? Left or right? Left. Okay? Ands are in the middle. Okay? All right, so then the second one, I have x is greater than 7. So Buckley, open or close dot at 7? Open. Left or right? Right, correct. All right, ors should be going apart like this at the open spot in the middle. All right, next one. So I have to divide both sides by negative 4. Okay, so I divide by negative 4, I get x. And what's negative 16 divided by negative 4? Anybody? Positive 4, wouldn't it? It's two negatives. Negative divided by negatives, two negatives make it positive. Now, because I divided by negative 4, what happens to my sign? I got to flip it. Okay, so right now it's a greater than, so I have to make it a less than. All right, so there's the first one. Second one, looks like I got to distribute a little bit. So I distribute, I get 2x minus 4 is greater than 20. Now what do I have to do, Carlton? Add 4, great. So add a 4 to both sides. I have 2x is greater than 24. Then divide both sides by 2. X is, good, greater than 12. All right, so then I go to graph this guy. I have 0, 4, and 12. I'm going to have an open dot at 4 going left. I'm going to have an open dot at 12 going to the right. All right, let's go through those last two. Now, again, that's two here. These are compound inequalities. These guys are ands. So what I suggest is doing the cover-up method. All right, we can easily solve this. 2x plus 4 is less than 16. So what do I have to do? Subtract 4, then divide by 2, right? So let's do the same thing. We just have to do it in 3 places now. So let's subtract a 4. If I subtract a 4 from here, I have to do it here, and then you would lift your hand and do it here as well. Okay? So negative 12 and negative 4 is going to be negative 16 less than 2x less than 12. Now, if you do that cover-up method again, you would cover this up here, get 2x is less than 12. What would I have to do to solve that? Divide by 2, right? So if I divide by 2, do it here, and do it here as well. So now I have negative 16 divided by 2 is negative 8. Negative 8. What the heck? Negative, negative. That's a negative 8. All right, less than x is less than 6. All right, graph that guy. Anytime I graph an and, oh my goodness, this is annoying. I have no idea. All right, so 0, 6, negative 8. There we got negative 8. All right, you're going to be an open dot for both of those, here and here, and we would color in between. X is in between, color in between. All right, last one. We'd have to subtract 8 first in all 3 spots. So I have negative 28 is less than x over 2 is less than 16. Now I'd have to multiply by 2, and I would do that all 3 places. Negative 28 times 2 is going to be negative 56, less than x, less than 32. Graph it, 0, 32, negative 56. So open, open, colored in. Questions? All right, so that was review. We did ORs the first day. I think we did ORs last Wednesday. We did ANDs last Thursday. And then Mrs. Grebe was with you guys on Friday to do kind of review of both, right? All right. So, we good to move on? All right, new lesson. We actually only have one more lesson between now and the end of this chapter. So this lesson is going to, it's going to really take us both days that I see you this week. So I'll see you today, and I'll see you what? Thursday? No, yeah, Thursday. All right, so I see you twice this week. We're going to split this into 2 days. So it is the absolute value equations and inequalities. Right, it's 3-7. So one day we're going to do solving absolute value equations. The other day we're going to do absolute value inequalities. Now, first question, anybody? What's an absolute value? What do you think? What's an absolute value? Or what's an absolute value do? Exact, okay. All right, true value. What do you got for me on absolute value? Nothing for me? Bailey, got anything for me about absolute value? Terry, got anything for me about absolute value? What's an absolute value do? It's absolute. Okay, how about this one? All right, Terry, still you. Absolute value of negative 2, what's that going to equal? Positive 2. Why? Why? No? Anybody? I just know. An absolute value makes everything inside positive. Okay? So let's write that down. So an absolute value makes everything inside positive. So good job, Terry. Now, I'm putting those in quotes for a reason. All right? Because we use this example. Negative 2 is equal to 2, right? I put those in quotes for a reason because what it is, officially, is the distance from 0 on a number line. Okay? So absolute value makes everything inside positive. That's because it's the distance from 0 on a number line. So if I have a number line here, and I have 3 and negative 3, how far is it from 0 to 3 on that number line? From 0 to 3. It's 3 units, correct? Now, how far is it from 0 to negative 3? 3. Still 3 units. Okay? One thing, you can never have negative distance. Okay? Think about this, for instance. If I'm standing here, okay? And I'm walking this direction. 1, 2, 3 steps. Okay? Let's say I went 6 feet. Agree? Roughly. All right, I went 6 feet. I covered 6 feet of distance. Now, I'm walking backwards. How far did I go? I went the same distance. I still went 6 feet, right? Didn't it matter that I walked backwards? No. All right, when you get in your car and drive down the road, all right, your odometer starts ticking, right? If you go in reverse down the road, what happens? Don't try it, but your odometer still keeps ticking. Okay? So distance is something in life that you can never have negative. No matter what. If I'm walking this way, I'm covering distance. If I'm walking this way, I'm covering distance. Just because I'm going backwards doesn't mean negative. That's kind of how absolute value works. Absolute value is the distance away from 0 on the number line. So you have positive or negative. All right? So where that presents a problem for us is when we solve things. Because if I need a little space here. Hopefully you had that written down. So where I run into a problem is solving these because of this. The absolute value of 2 is 2. The absolute value of negative 2 is what? 2. So because it's in an absolute value, I have 2 things that are equal to the same answer. Right? All right, so that presents a little problem for us when we're solving these. That's what gets us to this next part. Solving absolute value equations. Okay? We have to account for both answers. We have to account for the negative being turned positive. We have to account for the positive staying positive. So to solve an equation, here's what I'm going to tell you on this. I would write this for sure and write this for sure. If you want to put the official rule down, that's fine. But make sure you put this and this. Okay, so you must account for both answers as an absolute value. So by rule, to solve an equation in the form absolute value of A equals B, where A represents a variable expression and B is greater than 0, solve A equals B and A equals negative B. All right, that's the official rule. So, for me, here's your steps. Isolate the absolute value, split into a positive and a negative case, and solve each. We're going to do lots of these here. All right, so I'll give you a minute to write that down. All right, so let's go back to this. All right, so we have to count for both answers, and we have to solve an equation. We have to count for both of them. All right, so this is how I want you to do it. Here's the Mr. Thomas method. So First step says to do what? Isolate the absolute value. So I want to get this to a point where the absolute value is the only thing on that side. So in number 1 here, I have the absolute value minus 3 equals 6. Okay? I want just this piece right here to be on the side by itself. In this one, I need to get rid of the 3. This one, it's just an absolute value already. Okay? I'm just kind of floating through a little bit. So let's look at the first one. I want just the absolute value on a side by itself. So right here, let's add a 3 across. Holy crap. All right, so I'm going to add a 3 to both sides. Okay, so now I have the absolute value of x is equal to 9. All right, I have to account for both cases, the positive and the negative. So I want to make 2 columns. I want to make a plus column, and I want to make a minus column. All right, in the plus column, I want you to write it exactly the same with no absolute value. Okay, so x equals 9. On the minus side, I want you to write the left side the same with no absolute value, and the right side make it negative. So now there's nothing else to solve because I have x equals 9 and x equals negative 9. Those 2 answers are my answers. Okay? So my 2 answers are going to be x equals 9 and x equals negative 9. All right? Anytime you have an absolute value, you will have 2 answers. They're not always going to be just 9 and negative 9 or 2 and negative 2. All right? They're going to be different from time to time. But you will have 2 answers. All right, second one. I want to get the absolute value on a side all by itself. So let's divide both sides by 3. So I divide both sides by 3, and now I have the absolute value of x equals 5. All right? So now, plus and minus case. Plus case, write it exactly the same with no bars. Minus case, write it exactly the same on the left. Make the right side negative. So here my answers are going to be x is 5, x is negative 5. All right? Questions on that one? Still good? All right, so number 3 is where these get fun now. Is the absolute value on a side by itself? Yeah, it is. But there's stuff in there with it, isn't there? Okay? That's where it gets a little bit different. All right, anytime you have just an x in there, that's when you're going to get the 9 and negative 9, 5 and negative 5. Okay? This one here is where you're going to get 2 different answers, 2 unique answers. So, this guy, I'm ready to split it right now. All right? I like to do this sometimes too. Just kind of make this so I know I can split it. Instead of making columns, just put a little V there, or inverted V. So, the plus case, write it exactly the same with no bars. The minus side, write the left side the same, the right side negative. All right, so x plus 3 equals 8, and x plus 3 equals negative 8. Now I just solve them both independently, kind of like I did with an OR equation. So this one here, subtract the 3 from both sides, x equals 5. Over here, subtract the 3 from both sides, x is going to be negative 11. So there's my 2 answers. All right? Questions so far? Anybody? Anybody? All right, let's do 2 more here together. And then I'll cut you loose on some for yourself. So number 4, we have absolute value of 2x minus 5 equals 13. Is the absolute value on a side by itself? It is. Okay, there's nothing outside of it hanging around with it. So we're ready to split. let's go ahead and split this guy. So if I split this plus minus, I have 2x minus 5 equals 13. On the right side then, I have 2x minus 5. Left side stays the same, but I have to make the right side a negative. Okay, so then I can solve them both independently. So if I solve them independently, the plus case, I add a 5. Add a 5, I have 2x equals 18. Divide both sides by 2. The heck? Something about this area of the screen. I don't know.
Let one small line stay there.
If there's like too much markings on the screen already. Something like that. Let's try something here. Alright, divide both sides by 2. That's just weird. Try something here.
So in every case, while you're doing it, in every case, there's going to be 2 answers.
Yes. Anytime there's an absolute value, there will be 2 answers every time.
So to get one answer, you're not done.
Correct. Alright, let's try this again now. So now, divide both sides by 2. That still didn't work. Try spacing it down the page. Alright, let's see what we'll do. Make a second page. Sorry for the brief. Yeah, brief intermission.
I didn't have my friend. What's that? What's the first I don't think. Exactly. We're not turning. We're not presenting them because half of us don't have done.
Alright, let's try this again. Here we go. So, absolute value 2x minus 5 equals 13. Split it, girls. Plus, minus, 2x minus 5 equals 13. 2x minus 5 equals negative 13. Okay, so I was solving this one on the left. I added the 5. Got 2x equals 18. Divide both sides by 2. X is going to be 9. So there's my first answer. All right, second answer. I have to solve the right side of the negative case. So I'm going to add a 5 to both sides. 2x equals negative 8. Divide both sides by 2. X is going to be equal to negative 4. So I have 2 answers there as well. All right. So I split it, got the absolute value all by itself on a side. Then I split it, positive case, negative case, solve both of them. Last one we're going to do, then I'm going to let you try a few. So number 5, that's the toughest one you're going to get right there. All right, 3, absolute value of 2x plus 5 minus 5 equals 13. So there's clearly no absolute value on a side by itself. Because right now I have this 3 and I have this plus 5 that's screwing me up. Oh, sorry, wrong 5. Minus 5. Minus 5 that's screwing me up. Okay? So I need to get rid of those. Now, again, back to your just solving equations. If I'm solving equations, I have to add or subtract things first, then I divide, right? So let's take this. Let's add a 5 across. So add a 5 to both sides. That's going to give me 3. Absolute value of 2x plus 5 is equal to 18. All right. Now, can I divide by 3? Absolutely. So let's divide both sides by 3. I have the absolute value of 2x plus 5 is equal to 18 divided by 3 is 6, correct. All right, now can I split this puppy? Yes, I can. All right, I have the absolute value on a side by itself. So let's split it. Positive case, negative case. Plus, minus. All right, plus case. Plus side, you write it exactly the same with no bars. Negative side, 2x plus 5 equals, write the left side the same, make the right side negative. Looks like that. Okay? Now let's solve them both individually. So, left side, I subtract the 5, subtract the 5. I have 2x equals, no, we're subtracting there, yeah. All right, so we got 2x equals 1. Divide both sides by 2. So x is going to be 1/2. All right, on the right side, subtract the 5, subtract the 5. 2x equals negative 11. Divide both sides by 2. X is going to be negative 11 halves or negative 5.5. And there's my 2 answers. Questions on those, guys? Anybody? All right, so all we did was just essentially make each problem 2, for lack of a better way to put it. All right? All right, I got 5 problems up there. 5 minutes, 5 problems. You have till 1:19. It's 5 minutes, 5 problems. Get her going. All right, so first one, x plus 4 equals 9. So I can subtract.
This is why the peak of all reality was the 1970s.
Are you kidding me? The whole way to the beginning.
Yeah, because no one cared.
Okay, here we go. So, first one. Really?
What was the 80s like? They were probably less than 70s or anything. They were probably less times we like. Now you got kids teaching 14, 15-year-old kids.
You gotta be careful what you say. Mark said that she's the worst teacher of all time, and then you have to written up.
Yeah, that was uncalled for. I know.
There we go. Okay. So, first one. Subtract the 4 from both sides. Subtract 4 from both sides. We get the absolute value of x is equal to 5. So in this case, positive and negative, we're just going to have x is equal to 5 and negative 5. Second one, divide both sides by 4. So the absolute value of x is equal to 8. We would split it. We would get x is 8 and negative 8. We're not done yet. Don't start putting your stuff away. Next one, split it. Plus, minus. All right, so I have x minus 5 equals 8. X minus 5 equals negative 8. I add the 5 to both sides. Get x equals 13. Add a 5 to both sides. X equals negative 3. Okay? Next one. Split it. Plus minus. 2x minus 6 equals 14. 2x minus 6 equals negative 14. Add the 6 to both sides. Hold on. Wait for this problem. We get 2. Sit down. So we have 2x equals 20. Divide both sides by 2. X equals 10. Over here, add the 6. We have 2x equals negative 8. Divide both sides by 2. X equals negative 4. Those are two problems. Now, you will have a homework assignment on this. Due by Wednesday. Did I tell you to leave yet? Sit down. Wait outside, please. You will have a homework assignment on this. Everything is back to the schedule of due by 3 o'clock on Wednesday. Quiz due by 3 p.m. on Friday. Have a good day.